All right, here we go. Game 5, back to Boston. Series tied at 2. Adjusted series price, the Cavs are $2. This is pick and 206. Little money on the Celtics. As we tape this, Cleveland was the favorite earlier in the morning. And the numbers are well documented. Boston 9-0 straight up in ATS at home in the playoffs. 1-6 straight up on the road. And 37-0 all time when they lead a series 2-0. So see if they can close the deal here. What adjustments does Brad Stevens now make? He's been taking some heat, believe it or not, in the Boston media, as Lou went with Thompson in the starting lineup, and he's been able to contain Horford, and they're just attacking and hunting Rozier as they're switching everything, and they're just trying to follow Rozier and going to work on him. And the officiating is what they called everything in Game 4 as Morris and Brown were in foul trouble. Rozier took some quick shots. Brown took 23 shot attempts as well. What adjustments does Stevens make now that it goes back to Boston?
The biggest adjustment is the Celtics have to make their layups and dunks. They missed 15 of them. When you're missing that many bunnies around the basket, it's going to make a big difference in the bottom line and the end result. That certainly was the case, both point spread wise and straight up wise in game number 4. But certainly the quotes out of Boston don't sound like a panicking team. They don't sound like a young team. Brad Stevens, quote, "It's the best 2 out of 3 to go to the NBA Finals. Doesn't get better than that." Ultimately, anybody that didn't think this was going to be tough, everything is tough. In this deal, it's a blast to have to grit your teeth, get up off the mat, and go after it again. That's part of it. Jaylen Brown, quote, "Very frustrating, but that's life. You keep moving." Brown had another quote that I thought was really good. "Just going too fast, too excited, just needed to slow down. We missed a bunch of easy opportunities. We made some bad turnovers and things like that, but we still had opportunities to get in this game and to win. We just have to do a little more on the road, take some better shots, and we'll be fine." Now, the ticky-tack foul issue was certainly a big part of that ballgame. Marcus Morris forced into foul trouble early on, and that really affected the Celtics' game plan. Foul trouble was tough, man. I don't really want to speak on that and then get a fine. At the end of the day, I work hard and work my ass off to defend this position. The ticky-tack fouls, it is what it is. I'll say this. If the ticky-tack fouls come again tonight, that's bad news for Boston. They do better in a more physical game where they can push LeBron around a little bit than in a game where every contact is getting called. So the officiating, in my mind, going to have a huge impact on the end result for tonight. If the refs are swallowing their whistles, advantage Boston. If the refs are calling everything, advantage Cleveland.
You can't guard LeBron if they call everything. You're right. And that's what they did in Game 4. Also, I can't believe they called Morris for kicking his leg out when he shot the 3 as well. The shot went in, and they waved off the basket. I've never seen that called before on the offensive player getting called for sticking his leg out. He wasn't happy about that. Who do you trust on this Cleveland team now on the road? Supporting cast always plays better at home. I don't trust any of these guys with the exception of LeBron. I don't trust Thompson, Love, who's fragile and in foul trouble and has been inconsistent. Corver, J.R. Smith did nothing in the first couple games. George Hill did nothing. Who's going to help LeBron out in this game if they're able to win a Game 5 or Game 7 on the road?
Well, Tristan Thompson had a big Game 4, and he's certainly someone who's capable. You talked about the matchup problems that the Celtics had once the Cavs gave Thompson extra playing time. Certainly Kyle Korver is someone who's capable, along with Kevin Love. And Korver's been relatively quiet in this series. He had a good Game 4 as well. And George Hill, the veteran at the point, is another guy who I think has that potential. And, of course, you talk about the 2 Lakers, who I continue to think have potential for Cleveland, and Larry Nance Jr., 2 ex-Lakers, and Jordan Clarkson, a couple of guys who are X-factors off the bench for Cleveland and have the potential to have that level of impact on the ball game. But, you look at the quote from LeBron, Cleveland's not trying to reinvent the wheel here. LeBron, quote, "If you look at the 4 teams in the postseason now, Houston is trying to find mismatches. Golden State's trying to find mismatches. Boston and us as well. We're all trying to find mismatches for us to try to be successful offensively. It's not much of a secret." And that's the truth. It's not much of a secret. Who do you trust? Which coach do you trust to make the adjustments here? I know that it's not necessarily easy for Brad Stevens, but I trust Stevens to make adjustments in that regard.
I agree with
for Game 5. Like the show? Help us keep the lights on. Please make sure to comment, share, and subscribe to all the Sportsbook Review videos. Thanks so much. Best of luck. Enjoy the game.